A few weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, LAR Movement contacted me on Facebook and shared with me about an article that I was just happened to be reading at the same time. And this article talks about there is a great increasing number of black women in America identifying themselves as bisexual. I'll include the link to this article in the description. And the author of the article talks about some of the things that we always hear as black men. Most notably, I'm going to focus on, well, there are not enough available black men. We hear this one all the time. And, black women are doing much better. They have money. They have this and that. There's a whole lot of things in the article that it talks about. You can read it for yourself. But, again, the article has many assumptions and kind of gets away from why it is what it is, in my opinion. And then they try to talk about black women's bisexuality in terms of white. You have like 23% of black women, young black women saying they're bisexual, and there's like 10.3% of white women, which is almost double. But why? Why is that double? Why is that double? Could be a few things. Could be that this bisexual behavior of all women has been the same, and it just has never been okay to talk about it due to societal norms. That could be one thing, okay? We know that LGBT and bisexuality is much more accepted in today's time than in times past. Families are more accepting. We do know that. One article I read talks about pornography is a reason why that is. But I'm here today to talk about why I think this number is more drastic. Because if it's accessibility to nudity on websites, then all races, in my opinion, would have access to that. I think, porn is quite accessible wherever you go. Okay, in most countries, if you look at the top sites in the country, you're going to see Facebook, YouTube, Google, and some porn site, right? You're going to see this. Here's what we're not talking about. Is there any correlation to the lack of fatherhood and I'm going to say it again. Is there a correlation? Do white women, since they're at less percentage, is their fatherhood rate, stay-in-home fathers, is it much greater than that of African-American women or black women who are young, between the ages of 18 to 24, whatever? See, this is where we got to start with. And again, we're diminishing the roles of fatherhood, okay, in children's lives, in young women's lives, all right? This is the more of the case that we should be talking about here, because here's one thing that I'm gonna speculate: women who have less fathers in the home could be. Now, we know that this happens, and some people talk about this, why they may become homosexual. One of the reasons that women who come up in single-parent homes are more likely to be sexually abused. Okay, we know that from children and stuff like that, and that has a percentage of reason why a child may change their sexual preference or whatever. But in the black community, if you are a person that doesn't grow up with a father, then how can you, number one, make a decision on what a good man is, and maybe even have sometimes more of a sexual attraction? Because even with bisexual people, from what I have heard, typically there's a stronger desire for one or the other sex, right? It's not equal. A lot of young women today coming up in black households are not even seeing men doing what they're supposed to do because of whatever's happened, because of the choice of the mother, dad's not there, whatever. White women, this number is low in my opinion because they do get to see that more. All right? Women might think that each other are cute or attractive, but if you have your father there, the father's there in the home, the father is there doing that. Fathers in the home really solidify a child's sexual preference more often than not, in my opinion. Now, you do have the cases in which kids can still come out to be homosexual, both parents in home, or bisexual, whatever. But I really feel that if a young boy is with his father doing those things, he's going to gravitate towards those male characteristics. And a daughter is going to gravitate more to those male characteristics because she's going to be able to see this is what a man is supposed to be like. So why isn't the article talking about this? And again, this is another example about the diminishing effects of lack of fatherhood. Black father is important or not important, right? Let's blame everything else but the fact that we have this single out of wedlock household, hardly no income, and all of this. Here's what I want to tell you to you brothers out there who have kids and that are in your kids' lives, and particularly your daughters. Whether you are with the mother or not, I want to tell you, I salute you. I really do. Because for little girls and girls coming up, we know that in this society, there's so many people out there who are predators, people who want to take advantage of your children. Those are people who are out there. And the black man is out there trying to have, for the most part, relationships with his kids. Although people are not going to say that he's trying to do that. The CDC has already proven them wrong. The black man is trying to do what he can for the children under the best circumstances that he feels he can do. And see, the problem is that still you are not getting the credit that you deserve for it. So let me give you the credit right now, because I know that it could be a little bit hard, right? But the reasons why these other groups are lower is because their men are there. So for some people who want to make this article up there, some people religiously, you think that this is an issue for you, okay? For whatever religious reasons or devout reasons that you have, you think this is a problem. This is something that's on the rise. We should look into this. This is whatever. Hey, if you want to decrease this, to me, the answer is simple. It's not about the lack of men. There's always been more women than men, okay? There's always been more women than men, almost, especially in the black community. That's always been the case. Here's the question that I want to say. When are people in the black community going to start really understanding fathers in the house, men really instill good things in kids? They can do bad, but they really can bring out the great things in children. That women, single moms, really just can't do it by themselves. This is the truth. You might not like me saying that. We talked about that the other day with the Marshawn Lynch situation. You have the woman out there that doesn't want to hold the child accountable, and you have Marshawn Lynch trying to talk to the kid or telling the kid to get out the drill. And this is a big mess. Listen, fathers put that discipline in these children, and really, I believe that the first sexual attraction, and I don't mean like let me take that. The first attraction to one's gender or preference is people want to see that, and this might be a little sick, but the first person that a child falls in love with or really wants to see what the gender is like, and they get a gauge for that is in that person's mother or father. If the mother and the father is good, that child is going to go out and look for somebody that's like that mother or that father in many cases. Or that child is going to resent that mother and father and look for the complete opposite. Most people are like that. So we cannot diminish this. And this is what's going on. We have a lot of these young women today with no daddy in their life. If they can't find another man, now they go to each other. And we know how some of them relationships can end up. So anyways, that's just my take on it. Why do you think there's so many bisexual women in America and the black community? Why is it growing? Shout out to everybody. Subscribe, hit the bell. Subscribe to me on Patreon, patreon.com/Negro Manosphere. Thank you for all the support. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.